March 23rd, 2023. For those who are here in attendance, please have a seat. Commissioners, come to the podium. We're going to start tonight's meeting. We have a special guest here who's going to help me with the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Thank you all for coming. For those of you who are here for the first time, I'm your mayor, Dean Trentalis, and the City Commission is behind me. And we start our meetings every time with a Pledge of Allegiance, and then we move into the agenda. So tonight we have a special guest, Jackson Smith. Jackson, congratulations, welcome. And he's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So can you all please stand and join us in the pledge? And the flag is over here, Jackson, and here we go. Take the mic. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you. Over here. So in addition to the agenda, we have the opportunity to recognize certain people and or events or organizations that are important to the community and that the city of Fort Lauderdale likes to take special recognition. So we have presentations tonight. But before we get to that, we're going to talk about, I guess we need to have a roll call. See who's here.
Commissioner Herbst?
I'm still here.
Commissioner Glassman?
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Here.
Vice Mayor Sturman? Mayor Trentalis?
Here. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I'd like to ask you all to please join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. So we have a couple special announcements with regard to tonight's agenda. On R2, Exhibit 8, which is the approval resolution, and Exhibit 9, denial resolution for the R2 were revised in 3 places on each resolution from 542 multifamily residential units to 542 residential flex units. Don't steal all the donuts, gentlemen. Okay, we have a couple walk-on items tonight. One is a resolution delegating authority to the city manager to submit a grant application for $1,500,000 to the Florida District of Navigation Waterway Assistance Program to renovate the Cooley's Landing Marina, and then a walk-on resolution regarding advanced placement African American studies. Okay, having said all that, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes and the agenda for tonight?
Mayor, I have some edits to the minutes.
Do you? And what
Yes.
might they be?
Okay, thank you. First of all, on the agenda, I would just correct the first item, the presentation 1. I believe that needs to apply to all women in women's history, so that would be MEN''S, not AN. And then, well, hey, we want to make sure it's all encompassing. And then on the minutes, just one little minor correction, and that would be on the minutes of February 7th. That would be the conference meeting, and it would be the 3rd paragraph down, and the 3rd line, and that should say Commissioner before the word Sorensen. And that's it for me.
Okay, any other items or amendments that need to be made to the minutes or to the agenda? There being none, would someone like to move the minutes as amended and the agenda?
So moved.
It's been moved. Do I hear a second? Moved and seconded. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sturman? Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and the meeting, the minutes of the meeting as amended and the agenda are now approved. So now we get to the good part where we talk about our presentations. We have three tonight. And the first one, I'd like to ask our Commissioner Beasley Pittman to present a proclamation regarding Women's, that's S apostrophe, History Month in the city of Fort Lauderdale. Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Good evening, everyone. Hello, hi, happy day. Hey, happy Thursday to everyone. I have the privilege this afternoon to read a proclamation in regards to International Women's Month. And I'm going to ask that Cheryl Lopez, if she would come. It says to the podium, but I'm going to ask that you stand in the middle, please, and I'll join you once we finish the presentation. Thank you. In recognition of Women's History Month, March 2023, whereas women in every race, ethnic background, and class have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of Fort Lauderdale and the nation as a whole in countless ways. Whereas American women served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive movement for social change, serving as leaders not only to secure their own rights for suffrage, but also for equal opportunity, but also in the movement, that emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and others, creating a more fair and just society for all. Whereas women have served our country courageously in the military, forging critical paths in the establishment of early charitable and cultural institutions. And whereas women continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social roles by making up a significant portion of labor force working inside and outside of the home. And whereas we honor the many women who have contributed to the growth and the success of Fort Lauderdale, including Cheryl Lopez, General Manager of the family-owned and operated Rowley Marine Shipyard. And whereas Cheryl Lopez, along with her two sisters, continue the legacy of her father, began in 1966 as a highly respected businesswoman, helping to promote the growth and success of Fort Lauderdale. Whereas, despite these contributions and more, the role of American women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literary teaching, and in the study of American history. Now, therefore, we ask the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale now hereby proclaim March 2023 as Women's History Month in the City of Fort Lauderdale. As we recognize past achievements and current challenges and the future opportunity for women of every age, race, class, and ethnic background, dated this date, the 23rd day of March 2023, signed by our Mayor, Dean Trantelis. Let's give her a hand.
You know, it puts a smile on my face, too.
I gotta work on my tongue twisters. Okay, I'm gonna come over. Let's give Cheryl another hand, please.
Thank you all. I'm happy and honored to accept this proclamation and to be honored with this. And the marine industry is very important to me and to my family. We've been a part of it since my father started our company in 1966. And we hope to carry it on through future generations. And, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate it. Now I'd like to recognize Commissioner Glassman, Stephen Glassman, to present District 2 Community Appearance Board WOW Award. You all see the picture of the before? I assume this is the before, right?
Yes, it is the before. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Such a joker.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm out of step with today's style. I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. You ready?
I would like to please welcome to the podium Charlie Beatty. Are you here? There's Charlie. Thank you. And this is Community Appearance Board member Miguel Wright. And correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, but Alfonso could not be with us this evening, right? Okay, he works up in Delray. Well, you'll have to show him the video. Cool. All right, so good evening, everyone, and I'm very proud to present this Community Appearance Board WOW Award winners. This is for Charlie Beatty and Alfonso Vargas, who are the visionaries behind the property located at 1206 Northwest 4th Avenue in the wonderful South Middle River Civic Association neighborhood. This house is a true gem, proving that potential is in the eye of the beholder. The home had previously been inhabited by a hoarder and was condemned when Charlie and Alfonso purchased it. Since then, the dwelling has been completely transformed. The duo completed phase 1 of the renovations in 2018, which included new impact windows and doors, electrical, plumbing, sewer lines, baths, tile flooring, and stucco. The couple also enclosed the carport and rear Florida room to increase overall square footage and created a dining office area and primary suite with an additional bath and walk-in closet. The driveway was widened to ensure both cars would fit and updated with pavers to add texture. The pair removed the metal columns, opting to install concrete columns to frame the entryway for a more modern look. They also installed a fence around the rear of the property to ensure privacy and better define the outdoor spaces. To match the brand new interior, the house received a facelift with a fresh coat of slate blue paint, accented with a blue stripe to draw the eye. Along the perimeter of the house, low-maintenance greenery fills built-in planters after being propagated from other plants, including agave pups, pineapples, and oyster plants. A new roof was installed to top off the renovations, complementing the hues of the new exterior. The most recent round of renovations featured the installation of a new swimming pool and deck. Phase 3 will include new landscaping in both the front and backyards, with a new circular driveway and tropical landscaping plan for the front. The pool area will also get a native Florida tropical overhaul with a mixture of mature palms, flowering plants, agaves, and succulents. Large Mexican river pebbles will be used as an anchor, and extensive LED lighting will be installed as well. Charlie and Alfonso are pursuing a CRA grant to assist with the updates to landscaping. The updates complement the rest of the neighborhood and increase curb appeal, wowing those who see how far the home has come. The Fort Lauderdale City Commission and the Community Appearance Board proudly present this WOW Award to Charlie and Alfonso and thank them for enhancing the South Middle River neighborhood and the city of Fort Lauderdale. Charlie, come say a few words.
I'd like to accept this award on Alfonso's behalf. I'm sorry he couldn't be here, but we are planning on continuing on with this renovation, and we might have another one on the horizon. So I'll keep you posted on that. And anything to make our neighborhood better and is a good thing, I would think. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's get a photo.
orchid. Thank you for continuing to make Fort Lauderdale as beautiful as it has become. Thank you. And our final presentation is really an important moment now because every year the city undertakes a neighborhood support night in which people from the community get to meet the people that make Fort Lauderdale run. Public Works, sustainability, every department is represented there. And so tonight, we'd like to take this moment and recognize the sponsors of the Neighbor Support Night. And who's going to be doing the presentation? Okay, very good. Thank you. This is Junior Robinson, who's Assistant Neighbor Support Manager from the Neighbor Support Division. Good evening, Junior.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Good evening, everyone. Neighbor Support Night was held on February 16th in the City Hall parking garage. We would like to thank everyone who attended this year, and we are grateful for the opportunity to welcome our sponsors tonight. The success of Neighbor Support Night could not have been possible without you. At this time, I would like to call the different sponsors to the podium who participated in Neighbor Support Night to acknowledge them. And with me is Lisette Palmero, who will also be sharing. So as I call your names, please join us at the podium. Riverside Hotel on Las Olas Boulevard. They could not be here this afternoon. Tempanos Las Olas, Mark Molina, General Manager. Okay, probably had to leave, he was here. Broward Center for the Performing Arts, Jane Goodhart, Vice President of External Affairs. And if you could just remain on the podium, Jane. Museum of Discovery and Science, Savannah Haley Miller, grants writer. Nova Southeastern University, Bonnie Clearwater, Director and Chief Curator, and David Uday, Communications and PR Manager. Jet Runway Cafe, they could not be here tonight. Banyan Pilot Shop, Abby Self, and Marcelo Lazaro, and George Diaz. Our very own Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, Carlton Harrison, Assistant Director, Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport. Home Depot could not join us this evening. Challenge Fitness could not join us this evening. Clean Your Dirty Face, that's a business. Bruesh and Biana M, owners. Patio Bar and Pizza, Brian, partner, owner. Mondo's Cafe could not join us this evening. Jet's Pizza, Nick Oro, owner. Jersey Mike's Sub, Tara Webb, General Manager.
I know. Did the pizza places bring samples tonight? Yes, that was the deal.
Jimmy John's Sistrunk Boulevard could not join us. Ichimura Restaurant could not join us. Last but not least, not so much as a sponsor, but I would like to acknowledge Council of Fort Lauderdale Civic Association for being a partner all these years with us. Michael Albetta, who is the liaison, please join us at the podium. Michael, you were amazing in working with our team and getting our sponsors. So if you all can please join me in giving this group a hand for helping make Neighbor Support Night a great event.
Good luck.
All in the back.
How do I photobomb this? And thank you, everybody. Oh, we have one more thing to say, but I want to thank you all for being so supportive of our community and the city. Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Also, as part of these presentation for Neighbor Support Night, every year there's a theme for the event, and there is a contest, a competition with the departments for best department display. The neighborhoods vote for the best department display in 3 categories. For the best department for who engage the community, educate, and interact with the community. So the departments put in a lot of work in doing that. So this year we have a winner. The winner who won the best in all 3 categories by a landslide is Fort Lauderdale Police Department. So we're gonna ask the Fort Lauderdale Police to please join us up front to accept your award for Neighbor Choice Award.
Mayor, I think they overthrew DSD, which usually wins this every year, right? There you go. Anthony, what happened this year? Where is he? Anthony.
Well, look at the talent they had this year.
Oh, you changed leadership. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Wow. God.
Thank you.
Wow, changing leadership.
Okay, so at this point, we now move on to our evening agenda, and that begins with the consent agenda. If any member of the commission wishes to pull a consent agenda item, that item will be discussed and voted upon separately. Otherwise, the commission will vote on all the remaining items collectively. If there's a consent agenda item that someone has come here to speak on, and the commission has not pulled that item, you will be invited to speak on that before we begin our consent agenda vote. So I'll begin with Commissioner Herbst. Do you have any items you wish to pull?
No.
None. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
None.
Commissioner Glassman?
Just one, Mayor. CM2.
CM2, okay. And Vice Mayor?
None.
None. So except for CM2, all the other consent agenda items will be voted on collectively. Let's see if anyone signed up to speak. No one has signed up to speak on any of the consent agenda items. Anyone wish to speak on any of the consent items? There being none. So do I hear a motion to approve all the consent items except CM2?
So moved.
Do I hear a second? Second. Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalles.
Yes, and all the consent agenda items are now approved. If you came here for any of those items, you're welcome to leave, but of course, we'd love you to stay too. CM2, Commissioner Glassman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So I understand the importance of this air show without a doubt, but I'm going to repeat a refrain of mine for months and months and months now, and I know that we're going to have
How
a
many
meeting.
months?
Months and months and months. And I know that we're having a meeting at the beginning of April to discuss events, particularly events on the beach and traffic, and I'm really thrilled that we're going to finally have that as a conference agenda item. But I just want to, again, bring to the attention of the city manager and staff, traffic continues to be a major issue that is brought up at all of my pre-agenda meetings. City manager, I know I've said this before, but we have got to just do something. Especially north of Las Olas, after an event, support is needed greatly, even more. There were some issues, even though most of the comments I heard were very positive about St. Patrick's Day parade and other events recently in the last couple of weeks and months. But that is still a major issue. We have to do a better job of letting people know when they come east on the Las Olas Bridge about how they can get to the garage. I did notice a sign the other day on the east side of the bridge, but I think it's not that noticeable, and I think we have to start those signs maybe on the west side of the bridge, just so people know, so they're not making all these, I guess, illegal U-turns and trying to figure out how they get to the garage. But we have to do that. And it's really also not so much just about traffic mitigation and traffic direction during the events, but again, after an event. After an event, we just need more help, basically directing folks how to get in and out of all of the streets. We have that issue with north of Las Olas, but we also have the problems south of Las Olas as well. Lately, folks have been seeing an increase in closures of a lane on Seabreeze for whatever reason. That always seems to be happening. So we have to do a better job of coordinating anytime there is an event with whatever is being closed for whatever reason. Maybe we don't close that lane when we're having these events. Maybe we just make a concerted effort to do something different that we've done before, because we just have to make sure that we're on top of this. This is just a never-ending issue, and I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to deal with it. Final note, even during the St. Patrick's Day parade, which went relatively smoothly, and of course now we also know that we're dealing with spring break, traffic was actually backed up all the way to the aisles over the Las Olas Bridge.
No, actually, it was backed up to the tunnel. Bumper to bumper from the bridge to the tunnel.
Well, there you go. I didn't get past the Las Olas aisles. I was caught in traffic. But thank you, Mayor. So anyway, seriously, City Manager, we've just got to get a handle on this. We've just got to do better. Thank you.
We could build a tunnel to the beach.
Yes, we could. There's a lot of things we could do. But that's it. And with that, I'll actually move the, I'm sorry, City Manager, I'm sorry.
What we will do is staff will meet and we will share with you our campaign and our action plan to make sure that everyone's informed before and after the event.
Yes, and not just that, but also when we have, you're saying we're going to have this events agenda item, what, the first meeting in April or the second?
The first conference meeting in April.
Okay, so that's the next meeting.
Correct.
So that's great. So let's just make sure we can be as thorough as possible with all of these issues being discussed and what the plan is, not just with events, but also, you know, what are we doing? How are we stationing personnel? What corners are they on? What time do they start? You know, what are we doing to get traffic off the barrier island when it's on for events? You know, just as thorough as we can possibly be.
Will do.
Thank you.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman, did you want to say anything?
No.
I saw your mic on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve CM2?
Yes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and CM2 is now approved. M1, motion approving an event agreement for Rhythm Fest 23. I have someone signed up just for questions. Anyone have any questions or ask? Okay, so.
I do.
You have a question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm hoping that we can have some folks maybe from the event or council, but this also came up at my district pre-agenda meeting last evening. I'm sorry, that was Monday evening. Today's Thursday. But I also noticed in the backup that there are 2 pending code violations for the folks that are doing this event. One for a storage container being stored on a vacant lot without permit. That remains open, and then for metal fence installed without required permit, that remains open. So I'm just hoping that we can get a little bit of information on that so that we can, move forward. I'm not sure if we've ever had events that have been approved with open code violations on the site. So I just think it's something we need to clear up, because I think if we do approve events on sites, I just don't think that there should be code violations.
Thank you, Commissioner. Stephanie Toothaker. Also with me is Cyan, who is the property manager for Rhythm and Vine. The applicant is Rhythm and Vine. They own multiple properties, as you can see on the site plan. One of those properties has actually been sold. We do have applications pending with the building department to fix the code violations. A fence was put up to separate the property that has been sold from the property where the event is being held. So it's a little confusing the way it appears in the backup. But in addition to that, we did actually file actual permit applications with the city to correct the violations. And it's something we've been working on for quite some time with the city of Fort Lauderdale.
So thank you, but let me just ask you a question. So is the event on both sites?
The event is, so there's 5:15 and 5:13. The event is on 5:15 and a portion of 5:13. The portion of 5:13 to the west has been sold. The portion east of 5:15 is part of the event, and the fence bifurcates the site. So the fence separates where the event will be held
Okay, from the parcel that
from
still
the parcel
has,
that's been sold. That's part of a development project that's already been approved, yes.
and that's already been approved?
Yes.
And that is the site that has the code violations?
Correct.
And that now is in with the city in terms of remedying that?
We have filed applications to correct those violations, yes.
Okay, and can I just get some confirmation from staff that that's happened? That's happened? Okay, great. I'm good with it, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, I'm surprised you didn't mention that the apostrophe should be on the left side of 23 and not the right
Wait,
side.
wait, show me that. Where is that? Mayor, where is
On
that?
the screen.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh my God, well, I didn't even look at the screen. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that, I'm sorry.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
that's wrong.
Ms. Toothaker, could you please bring that
I'm
to the
looking at the
attention of
screen
your
right now.
client?
Mayor, I'm so proud that I've had such an impact on you the last 5 years. I mean,
I am not worthy to
that
sit
you're,
next to you.
that you're now paying attention to grammar and punctuation, and it's very fulfilling.
Does it
Thank
make
you.
you feel good? Thank
It
you.
does make me feel good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like
We'll
to?
fix it.
Would you like to move the
I
item?
have already moved the item.
Okay.
Yes,
May I have a
thank
second? Second. Okay. Please call the roll.
Vice
Oh, did you
Mayor
want to say
Sturman.
something, Commissioner Herbst? I saw your mic on. Okay.
Vice Mayor Sturman.
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst.
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman.
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Yes.
Mayor Trentalles.
Yes, and the
Thank you
item is-
very much.
You're welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good
See
luck
you-
with the
See you
event.
there. R1, appointment of board and committee members. Mr. Clerk, please read the names into the record.
Yeah, for the names to appear on the April 4th, 2023 resolution, consensus appointment Board of Adjustment, Howard Elfman, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. Marine Advisory Board, Barry Flanagan, nominated by Commissioner Herbst. And for tonight's resolution, Affordable Housing Advisory Committee, Kiafra Janes, nominated by Commissioner Beasley Pittman. Audit Advisory Board, Eric So, nominated by Mayor Trentalles. Citizens Police Review Board, Sharon Woods, nominated by Mayor Trentalles. Community Appearance Board, Chancel Dean, nominated by Commissioner Beasley Pittman. Education Advisory Board, Christina Dever, nominated by Commissioner Glassman. And Northwest Progresso Flagler Heights Redevelopment Board, Noel Edwards, nominated by Commissioner Beasley Pittman. And that rounds it out.
Are there any further names? There being none, someone like to introduce the resolution?
I do have a question. Are we supposed to appoint at this time, are we supposed to appoint folks to the City Attorney Review Board or later?
Yes.
Yes, that's what
Apologies.
I was-
Huh?
Yeah, if you have a name available
I
for.
have names.
Okay,
I have a name, rather.
Yes.
okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you.
If you would do that at that time, please.
Okay, Commissioner Herbst?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that one more time?
So this is with regard to the search committee, the advisory board
Right.
for the city attorney.
Yep. We come back to me on this one?
Yeah, sure, no problem. And if you don't have a name tonight, that's okay. I
Yep.
mean, it's just, I think we had talked
Just-
about,
I'm going through my notes.
okay.
Give me 1 second.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Roosevelt Walters.
Roosevelt Walters, okay. Commissioner Glassman.
Yes, Troy Liggett.
Troy Liggett. Vice Mayor.
Honorable Romney Rogers.
And I have Mick Erlinson.
So my question to you, Dwayne, if I've got somebody that's appointed to another board or committee, could I also have that person on this? So what's the,
We have a bar against board members serving on 2 boards, but there is no bar against serving on multiple committees.
okay, so then I would like to appoint Richard Weiss, who's currently on the Charter Revision Board. So that would be a board and a committee. That would be okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor, what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Mick, my name?
Yeah.
Dean
It's
Trentale.
Dean
No,
Trentale. Dean Trentale.
Mick, will you keep quiet over here? Mick Erlinson, Erlandson.
Thank you.
I'll give you his real first name. It's McClellan. It's a Scottish. I'll get to his official name. Okay. Okay. So in addition to the names that were recited by the clerk, we have the additional names for those that are going to be added to the search committee for the city attorney. Any other names? There being none, would someone like to introduce the resolution as amended?
Introduced.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, appointing or nominating, if applicable, board and committee members as set forth in the exhibit attached hereto and made a part hereof. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst? Yes. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes. I want to thank those people who have agreed to participate in these boards or committees. Thank you for your sacrifice and commitment to our community. R2 is a quasi-judicial resolution approving a design deviation request for a site plan level 2 development permit, Ben Fort Lauderdale LLC and Ben Fort Lauderdale DRC LLC, the Benjamin. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Commissioner Herbst, do you have any disclosures?
Again, Mayor, I've got to go through my notes if you'll just
Yeah,
continue.
yeah,
around and
take
come
your
back.
time. We'll
Yep.
get back to you.
Yep,
Commissioner
thank you.
Beasley Pittman? Whoa, what's going on here? Okay. This is going like
Yes.
rapid fire here.
That's what I'm like, ooh.
Okay, yeah.
No disclosures.
Okay, I do have disclosures. I met with the attorney for the applicant. Commissioner Glassman? Yes. Turn your mic on.
I met with Attorney Michael Weiner and also staff for the architecture firm, and that was on 9/28/22. And then I also met again with the same folks on March 15th, 2023, and also site visit.
Vice Mayor Sturman?
Michael Weiner?
Okay. All right, so.
And yes, Mayor, I met with the attorney, Mr. Weiner, as well. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so anyone have any questions with regard to this? No one signed up to speak. Someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and the public comment is now closed. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
This is approving.
Yes, introduced for approval.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, approving the issuance of a site plan level 2 development permit for an alternative design that meets the overall intent of the downtown master plan for the development of a 30-story mixed-use project consisting of 542 residential flex units and 13,764 square feet of commercial use located at 777 Southeast 3rd Avenue, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, in the Downtown Regional Activity Center City Center zoning district. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and that resolution is now approved. R3, quasi-judicial resolution vacating a 10-foot utility easement located at 520 West Broward Boulevard, 520 Broward, Fort Lauderdale owner LLC. Anyone wishing to speak? Something I said, gentlemen? No, just kidding. Oh, okay. Congratulations. Make it look pretty. Yeah. Anyone wishing to speak must be sworn in, and the commission will announce any site visits, communications, or expert opinions received and make them a part of the record. Commissioner Herbst, do you have any disclosures? Okay. Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
None.
I have met with the, with regard to the 10-foot easement, Stephanie, did we meet on this? No, we did not meet on this. Okay, I have no disclosures. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes, I met on April 14th, 2022 with Ms. Toothaker, counsel, and also on December 17th, 2022 with Ms. Toothaker.
Okay, and Vice Mayor Sturman?
None.
None.
disclosures out of Mayor.
Yeah.
And site visit, I'm sorry, also site visit.
Okay, so we have only one person sign up to speak, just for questions. If there are no questions, would someone like to move to close public hearing?
So moved.
It's been moved. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and public hearing is now closed. Would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced.
Okay. Any further questions with regard to this item? There being none, please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, vacating a retained 10-foot utility easement described in Official Records Book 10903, page 821 of the Public Records of Broward County, Florida, said easement being a portion of a 10-foot alley adjacent to lots 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, and 39, Block 19, according to the plat thereof, recorded in Plat Book 1, page 18 of the Public Records of Dade County, Florida, located north of Southwest 2nd Street, south of West Broward Boulevard, east of Southwest 6th Avenue, and west of Southwest 5th Avenue, all said lands situate, lying, and being in the city of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and that item is now approved. OSR 1, this is a second reading, an ordinance amending the Unified Land Development Regulations regarding boat slips, docks, boat davits, hoists, and similar mooring structures. Anthony, can you come up here and explain to us what the purpose of this ordinance is? Because we have several people who've signed up to speak. Just want to make sure that we're all speaking on the same page here.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, Anthony Fajardo. So this ordinance is to bring us into compliance with the county for the height of the seawalls to meet the tidal barrier requirements.
Right, so when we talk about the heights, we're talking about, so when does a person have to raise their seawall? Is it like, do they have to do it within 6 months, a year, or is there a certain triggering moment that we are expecting to do that?
There are triggers in the ordinance that are related to the structural integrity of the ordinance or how much of the seawall that you touch for any kind of changes. Dr. Gassman's here. She can give you far more details than I can on it.
Okay, I didn't know that you were here, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Nancy Gassman, Assistant Public Works Director. There are 3 conditions under which someone will have to raise their seawall.
Okay.
The first is if they are building a new seawall.
So if
They
they're
will have-
building something brand new, that's the moment in which they have to raise it,
If they're
right?
completely replacing or putting in a seawall where none existed before, they will
Okay.
have to raise the seawall to the new regional consistent standard.
Okay,
The second one is if their seawall is in significant disrepair, and if they either are cited because it's in disrepair or they come in for a repair permit and it's determined that it's more than 50% damaged, they will have to install a new seawall at the appropriate height.
okay, so they have to, there's a 50% threshold standard. If it's 30% or 20%, they
They
don't.
can repair it.
They can repair it, they don't have to raise it to the new height.
That's correct. So
Okay.
the third condition is if they are cited for allowing tidal flows to come over the seawall and impact either their neighbors or a public right-of-way.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, so we have several people who've signed up to speak, but I just
Mayor,
want.
can I ask Anthony a question while he's up here, or
Yeah,
do you want
yeah,
me to
yeah,
wait
yeah,
till
sure.
after?
Yeah.
So Anthony, if you could explain for whoever's reading the planning and zoning minutes, they seem to really struggle with this for a couple of months. First in September of 2022, and then it was deferred, and then finally a 4-5 vote denying. And both meetings, there was just a lot of angst. The minutes are very thorough on the first one. The second one, it basically just says how the vote went. But what was all of that consternation about? Why the struggle from Planning and Zoning Board on this particular item?
So I wasn't in attendance that evening. Dr. Gassman was. She may be better equipped to answer this, but it's my understanding that there was confusion over what the ordinance was and what the impacts to the residents would be. I think that the conversation with Planning and Zoning Board revolved around property rights and, the cost associated with these things. But I think it was explained very thoroughly to the Planning and Zoning Board that this was to bring us into compliance with our with the county,
Right.
and that this is something that we've already done. So we're upgrading our ordinance to meet the new standard.
Okay, thank you, and still they denied it 4-5. Okay, maybe, Dr. Gassman, can you maybe just shed a little bit more light? Because I mean, even if it was cost, I mean, they knew that we had to come into compliance with the county, right? And
Correct. And when an ordinance related to the Unified Land Development Regulation is brought before the Planning and Zoning Board, they act as the local planning agency, and their primary function in reviewing the ordinance is to determine whether it is consistent with the comprehensive plan. There's a specific objective within the comprehensive plan that says that we will come into compliance with Broward County's ordinance when it is passed.
right, and ironically, that was the motion. The motion was to be consistent with our comprehensive plan,
That's correct.
and it failed.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm just a little bit puzzled by it, and I thought maybe, I still am, but that's okay. I'm still in support of the agenda item.
I'm in agreement with you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions of staff? Okay, there being none, we have a couple people signed up to speak. Susie Bailey, followed by Dane Hancock, followed by David Puchard. Oh, there's more. Oh, Tricia. Okay.
Hi,
Good
guys.
evening. Hi.
I'll be brief. Just because y'all are talking about seawalls, and because there's questions from a lot of the residents about if we're going to have to do them, I just wanted just a few quick reminders on this, or just some questions. First, the residents, because they're hearing now about green enhancements for seawalls and their benefits for the marine ecosystem, some of us, the residents for Resilience, have been receiving many questions if they could possibly add these green enhancements if they're going to have to do their seawalls over. And they'd like more information because they're just starting to hear this, and if there is this information, they'd like to know if they'd like more information, and they'd like to know if the city will allow them to do this. So I'm getting a lot of questions on that.
I think well, you brought that up at a previous meeting, and I think Dr. Gassman said that some of these products were not yet approved or available. Remember that?
That's what, and I'm going to tell you, secondly, we did have a meeting after my presentation that we gave. There were 3 specialists that we had on that, and y'all, I remember, Greg, you asked if I could, if I could get a hold of some of these and we could do a meeting. I did send you a few emails, but I think I've got your wrong email because I didn't hear back from you. But
I apologize. I'm very backed up in email.
I'm sure you are, but because I hated to bring all this up here, sorry. But anyway, we got a hold of 2 of them, and Dr. Keith was down here, and he did meet with Dr. Gassman and Alan, and we discussed all the questions that you all had. And I just wanted to read his response with his findings, if you don't mind, really quickly, because I know you all had some questions. It'll be really quick.
Go ahead.
It was just, he stated that we may need to decouple any restoration effort from the installation of the seawall, which means if it's going to go in, we might have to do it separately. Since the city's not interested in planting mangroves in that area as part of a living shoreline approach, the options are limited to subsurface or intertidal reefs, living seawall panels, or riprap, just to name a few. Additions may need to be installed along or in front of the seawall, since the city does not want, remember they were talking about that they were worried about penetrating the seawall, and they didn't want to hurt the integrity of the seawall. So they could place these in front of the seawall. Reef wall modules that stand on the sea floor would be possible. Dr. Keith has some designs that would support this approach if we can find funds to produce them. He can get the materials. He said he wasn't backordered on those. As for other public or private project opportunities, incorporating panels or other green infrastructure during the planning stages. So if he could get to some of these seawall companies before you do your next project, he can actually implement these designs inside the seawall. Okay. Also, as for funding, because I know that was a question, Dr. Keith said he could include Merle Fogg and other projects with the city as example for co-funded projects when discussing funding opportunities with various grant organizations. He actually has a meeting this week concerning a specific grant that could fund up to $200,000 There may also be infrastructure bill funds that will be available soon that could fund these types of projects, particularly if it's a cost match by the city to build the seawall or other in-kind matches. We also heard there's mitigation money that's being requested and used by some of our neighboring cities and for these type of resiliency projects, and we don't want to lose out on that money because I think we're all sort of want to move forward on this. So Dr. Keith said he would to do a Zoom meeting with any of you to answer these, and there's another gentleman that's going to be doing a talk with Dr. Nancy, Dr. Landoff. He said he would be willing to meet with you too from the University of Miami. He's doing that, the Sea Hive at Wahoo in Pompano. So these are some of the people that are working on these here in the area.
Well, it might merit having a special commission agenda item to be able to see exactly what you presented to us, and Dr. Gassman can help organize that if necessary, because I think it makes a lot of sense.
She was helping.
Yeah, because
yes.
I mean, we're not talking about this year or next year. We're talking over the long term, and as people start to rebuild their seawalls, so the technology would be more available and more affordable. So I do think it should be an option for people. Should it be available?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I knew that you were interested, and some of you all were, so that's why I just wanted to update you. And there are other types of materials that you can use privately or for public land. Yeah, public walls.
Vice Mayor, did you want to ask a question?
Before you leave, I know we had spoken about some of the enhancements to the seawalls. Could you guys hear me? Is it working? Yeah. That we were going to be doing from the city itself. Obviously, as this goes forward, private people are going to be upgrading their seawalls too. The question is, Greg, could we incorporate some of the suggestions or links for people who are doing it on their own to be more eco-friendly within our website, or incorporate that to people who are doing their own?
So I think what Ms. Bailey is proposing is an emerging technology that we want to know more about, and I think that's what we're proposing, is to bring that information before we can even think about how we would approve that or even regulate that. So we'd like to learn more, and we hear you clear. We'll bring this back as a conference item so that it can further be discussed. And there should be a lot of interest about that. So
Dr. Keith did say that he's done some he's working in some canal areas, like for homes in the on the West Coast and in the Palm Beach area. So they're doing both. So, and you can ask the professionals on this too.
I think it's a great opportunity for the city.
I appreciate this. I know you guys all want to we're trying to fix our waterways, and it's just a start. So thanks for all working together.
You're welcome. Dane Hancock, followed by David, followed by Trish Halliday. Good evening, sir.
Hi, I'm Dane Hancock. I have a degree in ocean engineering from FAU. I've been a professional engineer since 1975. Since then, I've done several hundred design construct jobs, ocean-related worldwide. Raising of the walls is an expensive lesson in futility. The net result is zero. Tides are vertical rise due to the gravitational pull of the earth and the sun. No horizontal flow. Currents and tides are completely different. Two different animals. Currents are horizontal. Tides are vertical. They found out over 100 years ago when they were trying to drain the Everglades. Impossible, because of the ground soils and the high water tables and the connection between the on-land water and the underground flow from rainwater down through the strata out into the ocean. The tide comes up and down at about 6 inches per second. Per hour. The percolation rate for our soils materials run anywhere from 2 to 8 inches an hour. No gain. The soils are not impervious. It's not going to work. I don't care what you do. You can call Dr. Dodge over at NOVA. You can talk to Dr. Reddy up at FAU. They'll tell you the same thing. Now, so I've taken a couple percolation tests at my house, which is off-flow soils. It's 9 to 9.5 inches per hour. No resistance at all to the tide. The water level in front of the wall is always the same as the water level behind the wall. Now, I've got one little article here that I just received, we just published
So
this.
have you made this case to the county who's telling us we have to do this?
What now?
Have you made your case to the county who has imposed these restrictions on the cities? I mean, we're
Well,
just,
you guys are voting to accept it, so we need to start.
well, we
there.
don't have a choice to deny it.
The county mandates.
It's a mandate.
Okay, who do I talk to the county?
Dr. Gaston will be happy to tell you.
Okay. I've got a little article I'd like to read. This is sort of, there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, okay,
This is
good.
in Oceans Magazine.
Okay.
This is fitting. This is 50 years ago. The oceans of the world may be gradually sinking, leaking slowly into the Earth's mantle. Although the oceans are occasionally being slowly augmented by water carried up from the Earth's interior by volcanic activity, some processes such as the seafloor spreading seems to be letting the water seep away more rapidly than it is replaced. Here's an update.
Where's it going?
Pardon me?
Where's it going?
That was 50 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Here's an update on the same thing.
Okay.
Scientists trace the ocean leaks to subduction zones, areas where tectonic plates collide and the heavier of the two sinks into the mantle. It is unclear how much water has cycled between the deep ocean mantle through the ages. A 2019 analysis suggests that the sea levels have dropped by up to 130 meters over the last 230 million years due to Pangaea's breakup and creating a new subduction zones. Meanwhile, molten rocks that bubble up from the mantle as continental drifts apart may rain water back into the ocean. Scientists reported in 2022, but Earth's mantle can still hold more water as it cools. The ocean's mass might shrink by 20% every billion years. It's a long tunnel.
Well, I can't wait a billion years, but I get your message, but I'm just telling you that this is an administrative task we're doing tonight. It's not a policy decision, and we're implementing a mandate that the county has imposed upon us.
Okay, yeah, give me somebody's name of the county to call.
We'll do that. Thank you, sir, for coming tonight. David Punchard? Nope. And Trish Holiday. You're good? No one's twisting your arm, unless Susie's twisting your arm. And she's okay.
Okay, hi, Tricia Halliday.
How do you like your new seawall?
Well, how are all of you this evening? I was coming up here to speak about the seawall. Believe me, Susie's not twisting my arm at all. I really thought that there would be more people up here because from everything that I've seen on Nextdoor and everything, I thought that people would be clamoring about their
They
their
clamor on
seawalls.
Nextdoor.
Yeah, I know. But I don't really go on there all that much. But also, I watched the
Nextdoor.
Dr. Gassman's her video, which was very nice, and there were a lot of people on there that were upset. My issue was that I've also been on a lot of different videos. I've gone and been on some Army Corps of Engineer things. So I'm wondering how this gentleman how his theories would go with the Army Corps of Engineers, because I don't know if they would agree with what he's saying. Their numbers and their data are a little bit higher, I think, than what we're doing. So I was thinking to myself, if the people are not happy with the 3.9, which we have, increased, if I had to be putting money up to be raising my seawalls, and we're gonna have to raise them in the future, I would rather have to do it once instead of twice, because I just see, I'm living on the Isles as well, and I just see the sea level rising and rising and rising. I mean, I see the exact opposite of what that gentleman was saying.
Well, we're hoping that the world becomes more more socially aware, and uses less carbon fuels, and maybe the rate of increase will slow down.
I hope so too, but I do really and truly hope that you will consider the green gray option. And maybe there's some people, because there are those mitigation dollars out there, and I hate to see all these other cities getting them instead of us, because we're the Venice of America and we could use those dollars.
Okay.
So that's my main thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone wish to speak on this item? There being none, we don't need to move close public hearing, do we, Mr. Spence? No. Okay. Someone like to introduce the ordinance on second reading?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
An ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending the City of Fort Lauderdale Unified Land Development Regulations to establish resilience standards for flood protection, amending Section 47-19 accessory uses, buildings, and structures, and Section 47-39 development regulations for annexed areas, establishing tidal flood barrier infrastructure standards that account for projected sea level rise, providing for abatement of nuisance flooding, providing for real estate sale disclosures, providing for severability, providing for conflicts and repeal, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OSR 1 is now approved on second reading. OSR 2, second reading, an ordinance amending the non-bargaining unit classification table of the pay plan of the City of Fort Lauderdale by amending one classification from non-classified to classified. No one has signed up to speak. Any questions on this item? There being none, would someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
It's been introduced. Please call the roll.
An ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending the non-bargaining unit classification table, the pay plan of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, as amended by modifying the management category and classification status of one classification, providing for severability, repeal of conflicting ordinance provisions, and an effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis?
Yes, and OSR 2 is now approved on second reading. OSR 3, this is an ordinance amending the City of Fort Lauderdale Unified Land Development Regulations to revise 47-13.20 downtown RAC review process and special regulations, Section 47-18.21 mixed-use development, and 47-23.16 affordable housing regulations. A few people have signed up to speak. Anthony, can you come up here, please, and explain what the purpose of this ordinance is?
Mayor, I'm going to defer to Adam. He's worked on this ordinance and knows it inside and out better than I do.
Okay, Adam.
All right, I'll try to keep it as short as possible. Adam Schnell, Urban Design and Planning. Essentially, the regulation is so that we're in lockstep with the county again on the Geller Amendment, otherwise known as Policy 2.16.4. So there's essentially three basic modifications that these regulations change. The first is a clarification to our downtown regional activity center to clarify that developments within our downtown RAC have access to affordable housing units. And the other two modifications are policy modifications to our primary corridors, which state that 50% of the first floor commercial area, 50% of the first floor must be commercial in nature in order to keep the mixed-use vibe and on our primary commercial corridors. And the last one is to our affordable housing regulations. It's the same as the modifications to the mixed-use regulations to ensure that our primary commercial corridors stay mixed use. So
essentially, these are to enhance our ability to increase affordable housing options.
So essentially, the county has modified the payment in lieu of to go from a formula to $10,000 a flat fee to every unit within a development.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We have a few people signed up to speak. Vanessa Apotheker, Bill Massey, and Ted and Sarah. Is Vanessa here? You defer? Okay. Wait a minute. Is Bill here?
He's not. He went to Dairy Queen.
Okay. Well, we are now blessed
I
with
think he went
Ted
to
and
Dairy Queen.
Sarah. You
Yeah.
survived the neighborhood meeting the other night?
Yeah, it's very nice. Thank you. Hello, commissioners, vice mayor, mayor. It's nice to be here. I've said a lot of things in front of this commission and in front of this hall, but I've never said what I'm going to say right now.
Uh-oh.
I am in favor of this. It's a miracle, but yeah, I mean.
Wait.
Yeah.
I need to rethink my position.
Thank God there's a doctor on the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Give that man a donut.
Almost have a heart attack. But I think this is a great cause. Anytime you have affordable housing in there, that's something we need. We see all the mega towers going everywhere, so we need to help the regular people. And Mayor, I saw you at the ribbon cutting at Poinciana Park, which is right near my area, right near
Right.
Poison Park, and that's an added bonus to our area. And this is stuff that we need. We need to help the people in the service area. Nurses, teachers, anything, any type of housing that we can do for them is we need to. And I think everybody realizes that. And
Okay.
I'm just in favor of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on this item? Okay, there being none, someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
Please call the roll.
In ordinance of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, amending the City of Fort Lauderdale Unified Land Development Regulations to modify existing regulations and adopt additional regulations that are consistent with Broward County Land Use Plan Policy Number 2.16.4, specifically amending Section 47-13.20 of the ULDR entitled Downtown RAC Review Process and Special Regulations to add regulations regarding density, amending Section 47-18.21 of the ULDR entitled Mixed Use Development to add regulations for developments that face or front qualified roads, to modify regulations for mixed-use development on commercial land use designated parcels, and modify regulations for mixed-use development on employment center land use designated parcels to add locations where affordable units are permitted, amending Section 47-23.16 of the ULDR entitled Affordable Housing Regulations to modify regulations regarding affordable housing unit sizes, to add regulations regarding developments that face or front qualified roads, to modify regulations for developments which include residential units, to modify the development permit application process, to amend the affordable housing requirements and modify the payment in lieu of affordable housing regulations, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and OSR 3 is now approved on second reading.
Were you an auctioneer or something before this?
I'm sorry?
Were you an auctioneer before this job?
Right?
Holy jeez.
OSR 4, second reading, quasi-judicial ordinance rezoning from industrial district to Northwest Regional Activity Center, mixed-use West District, SJC, Sistrunk LLC. Sean, you signed up to speak, but it's just for questions? Yeah. Anyone have any comments or questions? Oh, we have, excuse me, we have to make disclosures. Commissioner Herbst,
Yes, I met with Sean Jones.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
None.
I don't think we've met either. Commissioner Glassman
Nothing additional from the first reading.
and Vice Mayor Sturman.
None.
None. Okay. So Mr. Jones is here just to answer any questions. Otherwise, anyone else wish to speak on this item? There being none, someone move to close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Sturman,
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst,
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and public hearing is now closed. Someone like to introduce the ordinance?
Introduced.
Any questions regarding this item? There being none, please call the roll.
In ordinance amending section 47-1.6.b of the City of Fort Lauderdale Unified Land Development Regulations through the revision of the official zoning map of the City of Fort Lauderdale and Schedule A revised compilation attached thereto and may by reference made a part thereof so as to rezone from industrial zoning district to Northwest Regional Activity Center Mixed Use West Zoning District, all of lots 15, 16, 17, Block 328 Progresso, according to the plat thereof, as recorded in Plat Book 2, page 18 of the Public Records of Dade County, Florida, located west of Northwest 8th Avenue, north of Northwest 6th Street, east of Northwest 9th Avenue, and south of Northwest 7th Street, all said lands being in the city of Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and OSF 4 is now approved on second reading. We have a couple of walk-ons. I only have the copy of one, the resolution regarding the advanced placement program. I don't have the other one regarding the authority. Oh, here. Okay, here we go. Never mind. Okay, so we have the walk-on resolution delegating authority to the city manager to submit a grant application for $1.5 million to the Florida District of Navigation Waterway Assistance Program to renovate the Cooley's Landing Marina. Anyone have any questions with regard to this? There being none, would someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduced, but I did have a comment, Mayor.
I asked you.
You said questions. I have a comment.
Okay, yes.
No, not a question.
Okay.
But thank you anyway. I'm very happy to see this move forward in Sailboat Bend, and I think it's going to be terrific, and I hope we get it. But I did want to ask the city manager what the plan is for the Riverwalk fine that we've talked about, applying a fine for the funding for the seawalls that are so desperately in need in the Riverwalk area.
So I was able to speak to Commissioner Gernert from Fine, and he provided additional details that we need to sort through with our public works staff so that we can see which seawalls qualify so that we can maximize our ability to seek funding that will apply to this need right now. So we hope to have that very soon, and then we'll give you an update once we have that meeting with him.
When is the next cycle? Are you aware of when that would be?
No, but he says that there may be some flexibility and that there's funding available, but we just have to make sure that we first qualify for their criteria.
Okay, and so we're going to meet with him and get all the information and work with the Riverwalk folks and know that we're eligible to apply?
Correct, and Laura is going to be working with coordinating those meetings.
Okay, excellent, as long as we're on top of it. Thank you very much, City Manager. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Mayor.
Okay, so again, so who introduced the resolution? You did, okay.
did.
Please call the roll.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, delegating authority to the city manager to submit a grant application in the amount of $1,500,000 to the Florida Inland Navigation District under their Waterway Assistance Program to renovate the Cooley's Landing Marina, delegating authority to the city manager to execute any and all documents necessary or incidental to the grant application, providing for an effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst?
Yes.
Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman?
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and that resolution is now approved. Good luck with that. And the next is the walk-on resolution regarding the city of Fort Lauderdale urging the Florida Department of Education to rescind its disapproval of the College Board's Advanced Placement African American Studies course. Someone like to introduce the resolution?
Introduce.
It's been introduced. Anyone have any questions with regard to this? Any further comments? Vice Mayor?
I'm just trying to look at this. You changed in section 3 who this is going to. I have two copies here. Just change the distribution, correct, in section
Correct.
3?
Yes.
And the one, okay. And that's the big change between the earlier today?
That's the big change.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. It's been introduced by Commissioner Beasley Pittman.
Thank you. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, urging the Florida Department of Education to rescind its disapproval of the College Board's Advanced Placement African American Studies course and to include the College Board's revised Advanced Placement African American Studies course in the Florida Department of Education's course code directory and instructional personnel assignments, opposing all legislative and executive measures that would erode or diminish the integrity and standards of Florida educational programs and institutions, and providing for distribution, rescission of conflicting resolution provisions, and effective date. Vice Mayor Sturman?
Yes.
Commissioner Herbst? He's not present. Commissioner Glassman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beasley Pittman,
Yes.
Mayor Trentalis.
Yes, and weren't we also going to distribute it to our school board? I thought that was one of the destinations.
We had College Board.
That wasn't mentioned
That was mentioned
earlier
early.
in tonight's meeting.
Last meeting, in
The
lieu
last
of
meeting, there was
sending
a
it to
discussion.
Tallahassee, but now that it's going up there.
All right, so this is going up there, we decided not to.
Right.
Okay, very good. Yes.
But let's ask Commissioner Beasley Pittman, would you like it to also go to the school board?
No, if you recall the conversation we had, being that our school board had taken action and placing
Okay.
it under
Okay.
others, I'm in alignment with this,
Okay.
in agreement with this.
Great. Okay, yes. So we need to, yeah. So it's been introduced and you've called the roll.
Yep.
Yep, we're all good. Okay, so is there any further business of the commission? Mr. City Attorney, no further business?
No further business.
Mr. City Manager? Okay, this meeting is now concluded. Thank you.